Alright, what's up guys? My name's Ren, making another tutorial for AE Tuts Plus. I'm assuming you've watched the preview for this effect. I think it's pretty cool. Got some more Action Essentials 2 stuff for you, assuming you like that kind of stuff. This is just kind of building off of other tutorials that are on the web, such as Andrew Kramer's little, blast wave effect. And if you're a fan of Freddie Wong, he has a walkthrough on one of his videos on basically more or less just a breakdown rather than a tutorial, but he explains how what he did was he took several frames of a video and essentially made a panorama.
Final shot sees. I mean, as you can see, it's not perfect. There's holes all over the place, and there's missing pieces and shots jumping in and out. That's okay because that's out.
Yeah. If you want to watch that, you can go watch that. It's on the internet. Everything's there. I will basically be doing that. I have made 2 tutorials in the past, so hopefully the third one's, skill level has gotten a little better as far as making tutorials. Yeah. Flaming Arm was my last one I made, and the first one I made was the Hancock super jump effect. And what this one does is, big one for this is I use a difference mat. And basically anything that's different from the background I get to key out. That one I tried to use on this video and it didn't really work out too well just because of how I had the color of my foreground character, actor versus the background. Didn't really work out, so what I ended up doing was just rotoscoping it out by hand, and I'm not going to cover that in this tutorial because it would quadruple the length of this tutorial at least. So I will just, when it gets time to bring in that kind of stuff, I'll just bring in a mat that I have pre-made. That's where I suggest that you get a green screen for your actor to jump. But yeah, so first things first, I will go ahead and start from the beginning, making the panorama in the background. Well, first I had my actor just kind of go through and just jump over and over again. I only have him do it 3 times. Give you a selection to choose from. This is where I would say have a green screen behind him to make it easier to key out later. I think I ended up using this 3rd shot right here. So he jumps, and the idea here is that you cut out his entire body and you're able to literally drag him from down below the ground, animate it straight up, and then back down again as he lands. So it looks like he's emerging from the earth. Then you disguise his hole coming out of the ground with all the dirt and debris and rocks and epic motion. Yeah. Okay, let's get to it. So let's go ahead and exit that. We're gonna need, if you scrub through here, you'll see that just kind of move the camera around and zoom in on the center part here, just to get all my places covered if I ever need that screen real estate. So I think I have 6 shots that I'll need to freeze frame. So I'll go ahead and hit Control D to duplicate 5 times. So I'll take this top one here and just freeze frame that. Actually, bottom one. Name it middle. And right click, go to time, and freeze frame. Then shut off all the other ones except for the top one. Let's go ahead and call that bottom left, because I believe that's where I go next. Yeah, so just try to get a still point where there's as little motion blur as possible. In hindsight, I would have had the camera much more still for a longer period of time to get no motion. Freeze frame it, and then go ahead and just move that to right above middle. And I guess we can go ahead and move it. So first we're going to want to actually have some working space to use. Go to composition settings, and for here, I put this at like 2500. Yeah, that works. So it's quite a bit of space that you'll have. Actually, I'll probably want some more vertical space. Composition settings. Uncheck that if you already do. Or yeah, there we go. And see, probably 1600. Will I do it? Yeah, that'll probably give me enough space. So if you hit T with your footage selected, you can drop your opacity down to say 50%, and then you can move it as you can see, I could align it with my underground footage, or layer below it footage. Just kind of line it up. Doesn't have to be perfect, because of course it's going to be not seen for the most part. So you can go ahead and just kind of see the two, because the reason why it is different is strictly due to lens distortion. You can correct for that, but it's not a big deal. What I ended up doing was I just took a pen tool, just kind of cutting out what I didn't want, which is somewhere along here. Just go through the so then cut around your footage. Alright, cool. Let's go to the next one. Let's turn that on. Scroll up. Looks like this is the top left. Let's name that top left. Freeze frame. Alright, and I guess I'm going to go ahead and scroll through, so don't waste too much of your time. Make this kind of fairly efficient. Okay, I went ahead and did the other few, just kind of, cropping out as needed. You're just kind of essentially making a panorama. And then you put a mask on what you want chopped off, fitting around this middle picture here. And then I forgot to mention that you want to add a feather to your mask of about 50. And I didn't do this last one because I want to show you. I'm going to name this middle zoom, because when I turn it on, I'm going to scroll forward until I zoom in on this little part right here. Get a beat of it. This looks about good right there. I'm going to go to time, freeze frame. So you can see right here there's an issue in scale between the two, so it's not just a matter of positioning, you kind of have to get the right scale too. So what I did was I go to your pan behind tool and move your center point to something anchorable. I'd put it probably right here, and so then you could scale it down around that point. So if you grab these, and then if you hold down shift, you can scale it down with the right, I can't think of the word for it right now other than scale, literally. Yeah, so put your opacity down to 50% by hitting T on the keyboard. I forgot to mention that too, I bet. And if you can see, about right there-ish is a decent place. And go until it looks about right, which looked to be about right here. Cool. So yeah, that's the right scale, and you got the position. So yeah, okay, I already freeze framed it. Now you can go ahead and actually double click on the rectangle tool to create a mask, and just hit, or double MM twice on the keyboard to bring up all your mask options. Go ahead and put your feather for your mask to, like, I'd put it at 100. Why not? And if you turn off your mask, you'll see you'll still have a bit of a line. So go ahead and bring the expansion down until that line kind of disappears. So yeah. And now, sorry, I have a bit of a cold, so my voice is a little raspy. Hope that doesn't annoy you. Hit T on the keyboard to bring your opacity back up to full. And there you go. We have our background to work with now. Okay, what you're going to do now is go ahead and take whatever comp your background was in and actually rename it. So in the project window over here, hit enter and name it this jump sequence. You're not going to use this just yet, but you want it named as such. So go ahead and select all your footage. And oh, another thing I did in the original video that I didn't do here is I sharpened it. So I went and added a new adjustment layer and put it below the middle zoom, and then effect, where is it? Blur and sharpen. I sharpened it. Sharpened the background footage to make it comparable to the higher res of this inside. So I put it at like 35, I believe. Just kind of sharpen up everything else. So it just kind of hides the fact that when you're zoomed in, you lose a lot of resolution if you're looking at everything else. So yeah, so go ahead and select everything and go to composition. I only know the shortcut, so if you select it all, Control Shift C, and go ahead and move all this. You're gonna label this the background. Plate. How about that? I like plates. They're good for eating. So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave that aside, and we're gonna create a new. We're gonna take the jumping footage, bring that into a new comp. And this is where you are either gonna have an easy job because you were smart and, you know, planned it out accordingly. You didn't have, rather you had a green screen and everything is in the picture at once. As you can see here, my actor's hand actually goes out of the frame for a few frames right here. And you could just say, you know, screw it, we'll just make it really shaky in post and no one will notice, which, you know, most of the time they won't. But if you're really, you know, sticky with details, I did was just a few frames backwards, I took a freeze frame of his hand and just animated his hand along the whole path. But yeah, what I used was I have CS5, so I used the Rotobrush tool, and just literally frame by frame rotoed him out, which took a lot of time. And what I ended up getting was this, I ended up exporting this alpha matte right here. So it's literally just a black and white, you know, video of my actor, his name's Sam, buddy of mine, jumping. And then you can see right after he lands, he cuts out. And that's because I fade back to the original video, because once he's landed, he's not moving anymore. So you can go ahead and you don't have to roto him out. You can just, you know, draw a little mask around the original footage and you're set to go. So go ahead and move this into place-ish around where you'll have it. And you're going to want to go to Luma Matte. So anything that's white is cut out. And I guess just move your footage into place. Oh, there we go. See, that was easy. Right there. So now my actors wrote it out. Yay. But then you can see once he lands, he goes away. So go ahead and, you know, if I repeat words it's a lot, it's because I'm slightly nervous. Cool. If you right click on this little bar here, you can hit trim to comp, so you have a workable area. Go ahead and duplicate your original footage. I believe it's this one. Duplicate it and leave it on top and cut it down to C. Here's where he cuts out right here. Or here. Here. There we go. So right here, drag it to just a few frames beyond and bring up your opacity and keyframe it at 100% and go just as he lands. You want as much time to, you know, ramp into it as you can without making it too obvious. So landing, I'm going to go right there, so cut it to there and move it to 0. So he's jumping, landing, not moving anymore. You can go ahead and fade it in. Oh yeah, one more thing. You're going to want to put a mask around it, so take your pen tool and just kind of cut around. I'm doing it rough. And feather this out to 50-ish or so. So you can see his background fades in as he lands, and you don't have to roto anymore. Just a little shortcut to do. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to go back to our jump sequence and find our Sam. I'm going to pull this out. It's called Sam Jumps 2. I will drag that out and again, sorry for the raspy voice. So now, ideally, there it is. I'm going to have to place it in the right spot. See if I can, yeah, about right there. As you can see, didn't do a very good job putting the mask in the right spot. You can go ahead and just go back and refine that as you want. Yeah. So the idea here is that as he jumps, you're going to have him below. So go ahead and hit P to bring up your position settings, and go ahead and keyframe it. This right here. Scroll forward till he's at the tip of his jump, or the peak, I should say. About right here, so you can go ahead and add a keyframe there, and then the moment he lands right here, add a keyframe there. Go ahead and turn all these into easy ease frames by hitting F9. Okay, apparently hitting F9 to toggle the easy ease keyframes messes with my screen recorder. It pauses it. So what I did was I just right clicked and I hit keyframe interpolation. I went to spatial temporal interpolation and hit Bezier to turn it to easy ease, but normally I just hit F9 on the keyboard. Yeah. Okay, and hit the plus sign to zoom in, or you can just drag your bar as such. So the idea here is you want to go to your beginning point here and drag it straight down. Hold down Shift to do this to about right here. I'm gonna have my actor emerge in this area right here, kind of. Actually, I'm gonna drag him over a little bit too. Have him emerge right there. Don't want to move it too much because it kind of defeats the point of dynamics and physics. Because you move at a constant velocity in the forward direction in projectile motion. Yeah, physics lessons for the day for you. So then here, I moved all of them. That's lame. Oh, I know what I did. I had them all selected. That's why. There you go. Okay, now I'll move it down. I'll just redo all that. Okay, what I did was you're gonna drag your character straight down. Hold down the Shift button to snap it into place straight down. About right here, because I'm gonna have my actor emerge in this region right here. Go to where you jump. I'm gonna have him right here, and then drag straight up. And then back down. So what you get is this crazy jump that actually follows physics correctly. Yay! So to make it to where it looks like he's coming out of the ground, go ahead and hit Control Y to create a new solid and make it white. Okay. Go ahead and turn it off, but grab the pen tool, and with it still selected, just kind of cut around where you'll have it. Just right there. Then off screen. So if you turn it on, that's where it is. Hit F to change the feather. I'd say about 30, maybe. So turn it back on. What you're gonna do is you're gonna have this. I think it's Luma Matte. No, it's gonna be Luma Inverted Matte. See. He emerges. Yay. So cool. Yeah, 30 might be too much, but you're going to disguise it all with a bunch of Action Essentials footage. Yeah. Cool. So, we got the basis of our jump. Remember, the reason why I have it going straight up and down is so it doesn't actually affect the forward velocity at all, because in projectile motion, it's only the vertical motion that's affected by gravity and has acceleration going on, but it's constant in the forward direction. That's why a bullet stays at the same speed. It's only slowed down by drag. Yeah, totally irrelevant to video effects, but actually not totally irrelevant, but I digress. Yeah, so the next part is you may be kind of unhappy with the matte, how it looks like this. If you want to, you can go in and hit, go down to matte and hit refine matte and feather at about, Actually, I wrote down the notes for this. Yeah, feather at about 50% and choke at about 30. And I think I put reduce chatter down to 0. So yeah, eliminates the white edge that you saw at the expense of making your actor blurry. But if you had a green screen, you probably were doing something to make it look good anyway. So yeah, there you go. You end up with this jump like so. Alrighty. Well, that's not what I want. Oh yeah, it's because I had it, I had this all pre-comped and did it here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take it off. Actually, Control C or Control X. Go ahead and pre-comp these two. Matted jump. Excuse the capital A, and paste it there. Cool. All right. So that won't mess up your footage when you get to the landing. It'll just hopefully transition nicely if you can get away with it. Great. Alright, now it's time to add the cool stuff, which is the action essentials. First, go ahead and add Dirt Charge 17, which is this really heavy, thick, like dirt clump that just kind of bubbles up from the ground, just like blah. Earth is moving. All right, so move that on top. Go ahead and lock this so you don't accidentally move the white solid at all. Go ahead and make it smaller. Oh, and move your footage forward so you have, time to before anything happens, before your actor jumps. So about right before he comes out, you're going to want to place, go ahead and lock these two as well so you don't accidentally move them. So here's your footage, you can move it. So about right here, go ahead and take your pen tool and just kind of cut. And if you go into your mask options, you could hit subtract and put your feather up to about 20. And we're going to color correct it to match the ground as well, so it'll be a little bit more realistic. I went to, I think, hue and saturation is what I did, and I hit colorize, and I think I turned this to about 39-ish range, and change the lightness way down. Not way down, but it all depends on where you're actually coming out of. That's just color matching. So you could literally spend hours just, really fine-tuning this stuff. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. How's that look? Acceptable? I approve. So as you can see, I guess I can move it up a little. Starts bubbling up, and then my actor comes out. So go ahead and put this underneath your actor, actually. So something along the lines of that. So ground bubbles up, your actor comes shooting through it. And this isn't the only one you're going to do. You're going to add several. It'll add to the impact of it. This is just the precursor, so make sure this bubbles up way before your actor actually comes through it. Like that. So the next one I added was I added a lot of rocks. Where are my rocks? Rock debris. Just, take that out there and see. Just starts at a point. Go ahead and put that there. About right here, you're going to have it start. It'll all be really quick. And go ahead and duplicate it a couple times. Move it, hold down W, you can rotate it. And these ones, since it's rocks, you don't really have to necessarily, off time it a little bit. You don't have to necessarily mask out edges and whatnot. This one I went to scale, and I literally unchecked it and hit -100, so you just kind of rotate it the opposite way, or flip it the opposite way. Yeah, wrong wording. So as you can see, rocks just kind of explode outwards. Adds to the effect a little. And I believe I had debris flying once I got up to here. So about right here, I had the debris flying start partway through. And have that duplicated a couple times. Rotate. Go ahead and rotate this quite a bit. This one, offset. You know, this is all for just playing around with. I like pre-comping all my rock and debris stuff, so I could just pre-comp it as one. So I'm like, rocks, because that's what this scene is. It's rocking. Yeah. Okay. Next thing to do after that would be Dirt Charge 13, I believe. I brought that out here, and see, let's go to. What does this look like? Ooh, high velocity shooting. Let's have a couple of those. That looks good. Ooh, I don't like the charge. There's no fire in this. So let's have it right here. So that'll be the first one. Oh, as you can see, you'll want to have to take out the bottom part again. Hit M, subtract F, feather 20. Go ahead and duplicate this twice. Move it. Maybe have a little bit of a charge. I'm gonna have this one reversed, so uncheck that, and then -100% on the left number. Just have it there, maybe rotate it a little. Yeah, and this one is gonna come slightly after, so let's delay those a little bit. Because this you want to have follow your actor. So, bam. Bam diggity. Alright, what's next? 14. And you can solo them to, you know, make it easier on your render. That one's just a heavy one. Go ahead and... The most important one is yet to come. That's, I believe, number 19 if you want to scroll ahead through that. Alright, subtract. Cool, feather. Yeah. 20. And this is all for your playing around. This is the fun part of the video itself. Literally just getting able to, you know, place things where you want it to, what looks good to you. Obviously this doesn't look the best right now. So I can go ahead and take these two, and I'm going to just call it dirt. In the same one that I put on this original dirt charge, the effect, I'm going to copy that and paste it onto the entire pre-comp. So I kind of get a similar dirt look to that, if you will. Oh, another thing, I'm just not realizing, I thought I wasn't adding up right, and that's probably because the fact that we're running at 60 frames a second, so go ahead and put this down to 24. You're going to want it at 24. So, no, it ruined everything. Okay, maybe not. Sweet. Okay, everything is good, and everything is now much more smooth. That is better. Yep. Okay. So one last dirt charge that's kind of important to put out is charge 19. Put it right here. As you can see, it's a big one. It's the big dirt cloud. You just solo that. It's a tall one. And what I actually did was I stretched it. I made it taller even, just to kind of emphasize the impact you have. And you're going to put this behind everything, even behind the big dirt charge. And go ahead and paste the color correction if you want. Actually, no. Add some lightness to it. It's going to be a little lighter, so to speak. So uncheck that, place it at about right here, and rotate it. You're going to have this go in the direction of your jump. So about right here, go ahead and scrub that through to where it's at a full shot like that. So it's just really to emphasize the fact that your actor is separated from the background. And again, you could use the corresponding mask. This is all just for what you want. So now the idea behind this is you're going to take all of this and throw it into a new comp. So go back to your project and click the new comp button, and you're going to make just a regular 1280 by 720 comp. Go ahead and lock this while you're at it. Make sure it's 24 frames a second. Cool. So is it jump sequence? I didn't name this comp. Oh well. Jump sequence, looking for you. Alright, drag this out here. So now you will see that we have this. If I can find it. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Looks like my actor just kind of disappears. I don't like that. But it's him right there. So if you hit N, you can trim your comp to this. So you have the jump, and he just kind of stands there. And now what you can do here is you could change the scale, you know, down to corresponding levels. Again, this right here is going to look bad, so the idea is to not see it. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and bring up rotation and position as well. And you're going to keyframe all of them. So this first one, keyframe all of these values. And just center it, because you're going to be looking at where he comes through and before he ever comes through. Remember, this is full res at this screen, so it up. So see it about right there. Go ahead and take the scale backwards just a little, move it a little, maybe. Maybe add a rotation thing, and then you see that he comes out, and you don't want to react just yet. So about like right here, now you'll start moving. Scale out a little bit. So now at like the tip of his jump, I keep saying tip of jump, peak, right here. This is where you're going to add the epic camera angle, because essentially with your panorama you created a wide angle shot. So let's take advantage of that by just really emphasizing. So zoom out as far as you're able to go, and add some rotation to it. So just kind of emphasize the fact that it's like a crazy ass shot. Probably wasn't supposed to say that. Oops. Oh well. Scale in a little bit, like so. I had issues with you know, this here, so I clone painted it out in my original shot. And if you look at the project file, I included the original work that I did on it. So literally, you know, step by step, you can reverse engineer it. So put your rotation back to 0, and your scale, go ahead and zoom in a little bit, and just before it lands, you'll have it back to normal. And yeah, so that's essentially what you do. Bust out of the ground, and you're essentially just using this entire outside comp to make your own camera. So if you want, you could literally motion track some points on a wall and use your own camera to make it a more realistic effect, which, you know, would be great. Just more time. It's however much time you want to devote to it. One more thing for optical flares fans out there. One thing you can do is add a light. So, layer, new, light. Okay. See if I can hit material options. Alright. So that when you add optical flares to a solid, effect, video copilot, and optical flares, you can make it track lights, and so it'll literally go wherever your light goes. Go ahead and put this back over transparent. So if you move your light, it'll move your optical flare as well. Although I think I just changed the scale. No. Right. So one thing you can do is parent this light to your jump sequence footage, and there you go. It'll move with your video. Yeah. I'm not very good on the fly with this kind of stuff, so it's not exactly the best. But yeah, this is essentially what you get. I can go back and review my final project that I made on my original work. Which is a lot more detailed. I have these black lines here. Better color correction and time stuff. Alright. As you can see, the optical flares up here. Cool. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took more away from this than just learning how to do this exact effect step by step, because I think that's kind of the point of a tutorial, is to just get you to learn how to do something and make it your own, as opposed to redoing it. I saw so many videos of people redoing the Hancock video, which, you know, is awesome. I'm flattered that you literally redid the video using the tutorial that I made. That's cool, but try to find like ways to be original with an effect that you learned, so you can make new stuff that people haven't seen. Yeah, I don't know. I'm talking too much. It's late. It's currently 2:30 a.m. Okay. Time for bed.